I'm Denise. Standing outside the courthouse, I feel a sense of calm that I haven't experienced in a long time. My sister, Lily, whispers to me, "Are you happy now?" I stop and reply, "I'm whole now." She scoffs, "You think this makes you better than us?" I turn to face her, look into her eyes, and say, "No. It just makes me free from you." Then I walk away, leaving behind the chaos and betrayal that has consumed my life for the past few months. It all started when my mother, Mrs. Thompson, had a serious health issue. She was a hard-working woman, but the medical bills were piling up. My family had always been close-knit on the surface, but there were undercurrents of tension. My father, Mr. Thompson, was a traditional man who believed in family unity above all else, often turning a blind eye to my sister's selfish behavior. Mom needed urgent surgery. It was a life-or-death situation. She sat me down and said, "Denise, we just need a little help until the insurance kicks in. Can you open a credit card?" I didn't hesitate. I opened a small limit credit card under my name, thinking I could manage the situation. A few days later, I was scrolling through social media when I saw pictures of Lily vacationing in Hawaii. She was sipping cocktails on the beach, looking carefree. I was shocked. I asked her where she got the money. She smirked and said, "Thanks to your credit card." "Don't worry, I only spent $100,000. I laughed, thinking it was a joke. "My card only has $100. Did you check the name?" That's when Mom pulled out a gold credit card from her purse. It was the one I thought I lost last month. "I thought it was mine," she said in a brittle voice. I replied, "It has my name on it." She just blinked, showing no sign of apology. That night, I checked the balance of the gold card. It was $103,421.88. All the charges were for luxury brands, resorts, and flights. I checked the IP addresses, and every single charge came from a beachside Airbnb in Maui. Lily had been tagging herself in the photos, almost as if she wanted me to find out. But she made a big mistake. She thought the card was under my personal name. In fact, it was under my business, Thompson Marketing Solutions. I had built this business from the ground up. It had real clients, liability insurance, and a business account flagged for fraud protection. Every cent she spent was now an official financial crime. I closed the card immediately and filed a report. Then I called my corporate attorney, Sarah Green. Sarah was a tough-as-nails lawyer. When I told her what had happened, she didn't flinch. She just asked, "You want civil or criminal?" I whispered, "Both." She nodded as if I had asked for a regular coffee order. She walked me through the plan. First, we would alert the card-issuing bank about the family perpetrated business fraud, with all the evidence we had. Then we would gather every receipt, transaction log, and geostamp charge to file a claim. Since the amount exceeded $50,000, it would trigger a federal inquiry. The next step was difficult. I had to text Lily. I wrote, "Hey, just found out what you did. Hope the pina colada was worth it. You'll be hearing from the fraud unit soon." She replied with 3 laughing emojis and then said, "You wouldn't dare. We're family." I screenshotted her text and sent it to Sarah. She wrote back, "Perfect. Thanks for handing us motive." That night, Mom called me. Her voice was sharp. "You need to let this go." "It was just a card," she said. I closed my eyes and said, "No, Mom. It was my name." The investigation moved quickly. By Monday, Sarah submitted the fraud packet. The bank froze all charges, and the insurance company opened a formal inquiry. By Wednesday, Lily's account was locked. She couldn't even buy a smoothie. That's when the calls started. Blocked numbers, voicemails filled with fake concern. And then Mom called again. "You're ruining her life. She's your sister. She made a mistake," she snapped. I stared at the ceiling and said, stealing $100,000 isn't a mistake. It's a felony. She said, she only did it because she thought you'd say no. I whispered, I did say no. She just didn't care. Then came the threat. You know, if you go through with this, the family will have to pick sides. It made me realize that the so-called family loyalty was just a shield for their wrongdoings. I opened a private folder on my drive. It was filled with years of screenshots of bank transfers I never got back, messages where I paid for Lily's rent, tuition, and even bail. I selected the most damning ones and sent them to Sarah. We attached them to the fraud case, building a timeline of her behavior. This wasn't a one-time act, it was a pattern of using me. That evening, I posted on my business's Instagram, sometimes, the only way to fix what's broken is to stop letting people who shattered it hold the glue. The comments poured in. That night, someone egged my car and cracked the windshield. I filed a report and ordered security cameras. The camera caught a shadow and a license plate, which we forwarded to law enforcement. 2 days later, Lily was served with a fraud complaint. The next morning, she showed up at my doorstep. Arms folded, wearing sunglasses to hide her shame. I can't believe you dragged this into court, she said. I opened the door slightly and said, I didn't drag anything. You charged your betrayal. She stepped forward and asked, you really want to destroy your own sister over money? That's when I realized it was never about money. It was about her sense of entitlement. She wanted access to my hard-earned resources, and my identity was just a tool for her. I didn't answer her. I just handed her a copy of the subpoena and said, you have 10 days to respond, or it moves to court. Then I closed the door. She screamed and called me selfish and cold, but that night, I slept better than I had in years. Lily went silent after that. While she pretended I didn't exist, Sarah was busy gathering more evidence. The bank forwarded us time-stamped IP addresses, device logs, and a flagged login attempt from her apartment the day she activated the gold card. Sarah smiled and said, that's the nail. Then the insurance company issued a formal response. The claim was approved, charges were refunded, and my business account returned to normal. But the case wasn't over. The insurance company had the right to pursue restitution from Lily. Suddenly, Lily remembered how to beg. I got an email from her at midnight. She wrote like a martyr, saying her life was falling apart, she was going through a tough time, and mom was sick, so she panicked. I replied, pay the insurance company. They own the debt now. 2 hours later, I got an email from mom. It read, what kind of daughter ruins her own family for the sake of proving a point? I didn't answer. What kind of mother would let one daughter rob the other and call it loyalty? The case went public faster than I expected. My name was whispered at the office, and Lily's was in the headlines. Woman faces $100,000 fraud accusation after using sister's business card for Hawaiian vacation. Mom texted again, you've embarrassed this family enough. Haven't you done enough damage? I almost laughed. I opened a credit card to help mom, and they turned it into a free-for-all. The only thing I was guilty of was telling the truth. Sarah called that night and said the insurance company was pursuing civil restitution. I was in the clear financially, and I didn't have to attend court unless I wanted to testify. I thought about it. I didn't want revenge, I wanted peace. But peace meant setting boundaries. I'll testify, I said. I wanted the truth on record. I didn't want someone to paint Lily as the misunderstood sister and me as the cruel one. In court, the energy was cold. Lily sat across the room, flanked by her lawyer, trying to look humble. When the prosecutor asked if I wanted to speak, I stood up. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to reclaim my name, I said. I told the court about the medical bills I paid, the card I opened for mom, and the moment I saw the Hawaii photos. I ended by saying, she didn't steal money. She stole trust. She took my face, my credit, and wore it like a mask to buy a vacation. The courtroom was silent. When I sat down, I felt no fear. The ruling came quickly. Lily was ordered to pay restitution to the insurance company. Her assets would be monitored, and any attempt to open new credit lines would trigger a report. After the court, I walked past Lily. Her question, "Are you happy now?" led to my answer about being whole. I left the courthouse, leaving behind the toxic family dynamics. In the weeks that followed, I used the refunded funds to hire a financial advisor. I opened new business accounts with tighter protocols and set alerts for even the smallest charges. I learned that betrayal can come from those closest to you. One afternoon, I walked past a jewelry store and saw a simple gold bracelet in the window. I bought it with my own card, with my name embossed on it. As I slipped it on, I remembered my grandmother's words, "The people who love you shouldn't make you prove it." I walked home, feeling the lightness of the bracelet on my wrist and the silence of my phone in my pocket. At my front door, I paused. There was no broken glass, no emotional turmoil. Just peace. I had finally found myself, unapologetic and free from the false belief that forgiveness meant reunion. Sometimes, forgiveness means closing the ledger and moving on.